Hi, everyone. I'm Corpus, a senior transition specialist and real estate expert based in the San Francisco Bay Area and a proud member of the sandwich generation, juggling care for my kids along with my aging parents. Welcome to the Simplify Senior Transitions podcast, where we make senior living conversations easier for families just like yours. Today's guest is Steele Nakamoto, a licensed life insurance agent with National Life Group. Steele helps families prepare for the future through customized insurance solutions that not only protect loved ones, but also create financial flexibility and security. He's passionate about financial literacy and making sure families are prepared, not just for today, but for whatever life throws their way. Let's dive in.
Welcome to the Simplify Senior Transitions podcast, where we help families navigate senior living, real estate, and everything in between. Hosted by Senior Transition Specialist Dale Corpus, this show brings you expert insights, real solutions, and stress-free strategies to make senior transitions simple. Ready to dive in? Let's go.
All right, and we're back, everybody. Steele, welcome to the podcast. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, Dale.
You're welcome. You guys don't know this, but Steele has been instrumental of just connecting me into the senior living professional world. He was the first person I talked to about the Bay Area, or actually specifically in the East Bay, the senior roundtables. And he was the first person on LinkedIn to do a Zoom with me and tell me about it. So I just wanted to do a shout out to him for that, because I was able to, through that, meet a lot of other folks in senior living. And honestly, through those connections, this podcast is formed. So thank you very much, Steele.
Of course.
And so jumping back into this podcast, why don't you go ahead and start by telling us a little bit about your journey and how did you get into the world of life insurance?
Yeah. So I guess just to start with my background, I actually don't have a background in life insurance. I went to school for accounting, graduated with an accounting degree, and I was in the accounting landscape for almost 20 years now. And, during COVID, I was still doing my job, working from home. But it got to a point where I just wanted something else. And at that point, a friend of mine actually introduced me to the life insurance industry, about the financial services, life insurance overall. And I just jumped into it really just for something else to do, because I would get off of my job at 5 o'clock, again, working from home because it was COVID. We were sheltering in place and all that. And from 5 o'clock till whenever I go to sleep, and just kind of sitting there doing nothing, bored. Can't really go anywhere. So this really just gave me something else to do. And at first it was very, very part-time, if any time at all. But as I learned more and more about life insurance, as I learned how much more you can do with it, besides just the traditional death benefit, because I'm a single guy with no kids. And my thought in the past was like, what do I need life insurance for, right? I don't have any kids, whatever. And then I learned more and more about it, and I realized how cool it really is.
Okay.
And so I wanted to dive deeper into it, learn more about it, and learn the X's and O's about it, because I like to learn those things, the technical aspects of it. And once I really learned how it worked, I was like, man, this is pretty amazing. More people need to know about this. So that's when I decided to dive more and more into it. And eventually it became my full-time thing.
Okay. And what drew you specifically to work with National Life Group? How did you even hear about it?
Yeah, so I actually didn't know much about any life insurance companies. I just know a few from the commercials that I've seen, only to find out there's almost 800 life insurance companies out there in America, which is insane to think about. So National Life Group, again, I just kind of fell on them. And as I learned more and more about them and how they separate themselves from the competition, how their package of living benefits is different from so many others, that I just realized this was a great company to be a part of. And I love that they tell us that they try to do what's in the best interest of their clients, or rather they do what's in the best interest of their clients. And from being in this company for over 4 years now, they actually back up what they say. And they've added new riders at no additional cost. They try to keep costs lower for their clients at the same time. And every step of the way, anytime you might question something, they do something and you realize, oh, this is the right company.
Very cool. Now, in your own words, what's the most misunderstood part about life insurance?
The most understood part is what I just said earlier about how life insurance is only for people who have kids. And again, there's so many different aspects to life insurance that people just don't know about. And at the end of the day, you don't know what you don't know because you may not see it on social media, or you may not read about it, or you don't talk to the right people about it. Most people just think life insurance is a death benefit. You just get it for a set amount of time to cover your family, your wife, your husband, your kids, in case you pass away early. And then once that 30-year term is up, 20 years, whatever you sign up for, once it's up, that's it, it goes away. But no, there's actually so much more to it that people have no idea about.
When you're working with adult children of aging parents, what are some of the first things you assess about their insurance needs?
So when I talk to older kids and, they're trying to find stuff for their aging parents, it's a little bit harder for seniors to get life insurance, but we still can help them. We insure up to age 85, but I just make sure they're aware that it is a little bit higher of a cost potentially. And a lot of them don't realize that they still can get it at an older age. So at the end of the day, it's just about finding what the needs are, what's within the budget, and tailoring it to their needs. So it starts with me asking the right questions and information gathering and just trying to figure out what fits into that puzzle piece that they're trying to solve. But at the same time, I like talking to the kids or the parents as well, because in a lot of cases, they don't have it for themselves, or they don't have the proper coverage, or whatever it is that might be missing. So I might be able to help them in the process as well.
What do you wish more families knew before a health crisis or financial emergency hits?
Man, there's so much. But I wish that they knew that they could use the life insurance while they're alive. Again, the traditional form of life insurance is the death benefit, where someone passes away, then their beneficiaries will get the money, usually their family, right? Wife, husband, kids, whoever it may be. But nowadays, the life insurance has become more and more flexible. It's become more versatile, where if certain triggering events would happen to somebody's life, let's say cancer, heart attack, stroke, those are some of the most common illnesses today. If someone were to be diagnosed with any of those three, amongst many other things we cover, they can actually tap into that life insurance money early. So we see people today open up GoFundMes all the time. And usually it has to do with some sort of medical issue, getting sick and can't afford to pay their hospital bills. A lot of people don't realize that their health insurance does not cover everything, right? And I was the same way when I was working at my old job. I'm like, oh, cool. I got health insurance. It's going to cover everything that I need in case emergencies happen. But then what people find out in the process is, guess what? Health insurance is not covering everything necessarily. And then surprise, you're stuck with a huge bill that most people can't afford to pay. So depending on somebody's circumstance, whatever the issue may be, they might be able to tap into their life insurance policy money and use it.
I hear you talk about financial wellness. How does life insurance tie into that for seniors?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot that seniors can use within a life insurance policy to help fund whatever it is that they need to fund. So one of the riders, for example, we just added a year ago is an Alzheimer's and dementia rider. So if a client of ours were to be diagnosed with Alzheimer's or Lewy body dementia specifically, then they can tap into their life insurance policy early and use it to pay for whatever they need. Care for dementia and Alzheimer's is very expensive. And I'm learning that from my own experience. Both of my grandmothers had dementia. And I saw the care that was needed, the round-the-clock care that was needed just to make sure they can eat properly, they use the bathroom properly. And it's very, very expensive. And a lot of people cannot cover those costs. So if they can't cover the costs, where does the money come from so that they could get the care needed? In some cases, they have to go to the government. In some cases, they have to ask family or friends. But what if they can tap into their own life insurance policy and use those funds that was reserved for their death, but now use it to help themselves prolong their life?
Got it. I'm a senior transition specialist, and many of my clients are worried about how to pay for senior care. Can life insurance help?
Life insurance can help, yes. Now, not all life insurance policies operate the same way. So there's the basic, cheaper policies that cover the living benefits plus the death
Yeah.
benefit. But at the same time, there are permanent policies that have a cash value component as well.
Okay.
And if set up properly, and if you give it time to build up and gain interest over time, somebody can tap into that policy money, the cash value part of it, and use it for whatever they want to. Some people will use it and buy a home. Some people will use it to go on vacation. Some people will use it to help fund retirement. But part of retirement is also having to cover your medical care needs, right? Because as you get older, your healthcare cost goes up as well. Sometimes it's something as simple as medication, but sometimes you have to go get specific tests done or certain things to stay healthy. So the life insurance proceeds or the money from your cash value can actually be used for those things as well. It's really up to you how you want to use it. But again, if someone were to be sick, get hurt, then they can tap into the living benefits part of it and use that.
I want to dive a little bit deeper into this. So, how can seniors or their adult children use life insurance strategically to prepare for assisted living, in-home care, or downsizing?
Yeah. So, like just retirement in general, the earlier
Mhm.
you start, the better off you'll be in the long run, right? And so many people, especially when you're in your 20s, you don't think about it, but we're all going to get
Right.
old at some point. And
Right.
again, if you can start at an earlier point in your life, that just gives your money more and more time to grow, to gain interest and look bigger as you get older. So the life insurance can be used in multiple ways. I mentioned the cash value component. And if you find yourself in the need for some in-home care for whatever reason, then you just tap into that cash value component. Call National Life Group and say, hey, I need such and such money. And it's as simple as a simple phone call, depending on how much money you have in your cash value. And they can wire that money over in a matter of days.
Okay. Can policies be structured in a way that support long-term care needs?
Yes, policies can be structured in a way. Again, it goes to having the right agent and one who knows how to help your needs. So I can't just say you got to set it up this way, that way, because again, it depends on what a person needs in their life. And even where they live, the cost of living is different from state to state, from area to area. The cost of living for someone who wants to retire in California is going to be different than somebody that wants to retire in Iowa, right? So it's a matter of finding out how much someone may potentially need in the future when they're 65, 70, 75 years old, even to 90, and working backwards from that. So from finding out what exactly it is that somebody would need or want to have at a later age, we can reverse, what's the word I'm looking for? We can work backwards from that.
Reverse engineer.
And reverse engineer. Thank you for that. We can reverse engineer it and figure out what exactly it is that they need to do right now so that they can get to whatever goal it is that they're looking for.
What's the difference between a traditional life insurance policy and one that includes living benefits?
Yeah. So traditional life insurance policies are basically just the death benefit. So a lot of people will get it as a term policy is generally cheaper, and it just covers a set amount of time, whether 10 years, 15, 20, 30 years, and pretty much 30 years is the most that it goes. Once those 30 years are up, that's it. It goes away. If somebody wants to renew it, then they can. What people don't realize, though, is if they want to get a new life insurance policy after the old one expires, they're going to be graded based on their new age. So let's say somebody gets it at 30 years old, their policy expires at 60, and they want to get more life insurance coverage. Well, guess what? You're going to be graded based on being 60 years old, which potentially you have more health issues at the same time. So the life insurance company will take your higher risk based on your health and your age. And guess what? Your insurance premium is going to go through the roof. People don't realize that. No one tells them that. And so I make sure when I show somebody what a term policy looks like and how it works for them, well, I make sure to tell them that when you're this much older, your policy cost is going to go up. So I just want you to be aware of that. And if they're fine with it, then good, we'll go with it. If not, then, I'll work within what they're looking for. So that's what a traditional life insurance policy typically looks like. Now, what the ones with living benefits are, is just another way to access that death benefit money early. So for National Life Group, again, every company is different. No two companies are made the same. So National Life Group, the living benefits package actually comes at no additional cost. So our clients, as long as they're healthy enough to qualify for life insurance, they can have access to those living benefits package as well. And again, all they have to do is qualify for life insurance with their health and qualify for the package of living benefits as well. They're kind of two separate qualifications. If they qualify for it, then they get it all in one policy.
I have a question I forgot to ask you in the beginning, just so that our audience knows. Where are you based out of geographically, and how far is your reach of people that you can help, like geographically?
Yeah, so I'm based in the San Francisco Bay Area. My office is in San Mateo, California, but I can help people nationwide. I can help in all 50 states. A life insurance license can pretty much go to, once I'm approved in one state, then I can get approved in every state. But I cannot help people if they're out of the country. So I wish I could help our friends to the north in Canada, friends to the south in Mexico, but I can only do the 50 states in the U.S.
Okay. Thank you. For seniors who want to leave something behind for their kids or grandkids, what's your advice?
So again, it depends on how much they can afford. That is the first thing that everybody thinks of when it comes to just insurance in general. Can they afford it? A lot of people tell me they want that $1 million policy, which is kind of that sexy number, right? It's like, oh, I have $1 million in coverage. Not everyone needs it. Not everyone can afford it. So the first thing I do is look at affordability for somebody. I look at what they need covered, and then we'll determine if that's definitely feasible for them. If not, then I'll just continue to find a number till I find something that really works for them. The last thing I want for somebody is to feel like they have to pay another bill, because it can get expensive. And it's getting more and more expensive in this country to live day in and day out, right? The bag of chips went up to like $6, and that's insane to think about. Yeah. As much as I love eating chips, now I have to second guess if I really want that bag that much. So when I'm talking to people wanting to leave back something for their kids, I always start with budget and see if it's something that I can fit within what they can afford. Then the next thing I do is see what coverage they actually need. Like I mentioned, everybody wants that $1 million in coverage, but not everybody needs it. If they only have so much left on their mortgage, if their monthly bills are only so much, if it's minimal, then they may not need $1 million in coverage. They might need 500,000, maybe less. And if their goal is more of the cash value component and building up money over time so that they can use it for their retirement, then maybe I won't focus so much on how much death benefit they have and try to focus more on structuring it so that their money can go a lot further over time.
Can life insurance be used to help with estate planning or to cover final expenses?
Yes, it can. It can help with both of those. So with final expense, a lot of people will get that because the cost of funeral expenses is very expensive, and people don't realize it until the time comes. And I recently dealt with the passing of my uncle, And my mom and my brother were the ones who coordinated most of the funeral arrangements.
Yeah.
So I got to see how expensive it really is. Like $30,000 is minimum for a lot of funerals these days, which is insane to think about. So, most people will get a life insurance coverage north of $100,000. That will be more than enough to not only cover funeral expenses, but it would also cover whatever they want to leave back to their family. So that's definitely a great start for life insurance planning. But as far as estate coverage as well, when somebody passes and they leave behind something to their family, whether it's a home, whether it's other types of things that people can gain off of, their kids can gain off of, well, people also don't realize that there might be taxes involved in it as well. And suddenly, it's hard enough just for people to pay their bills day in and day out. So now you're hit with this sudden tax bill that you didn't see coming, along with grieving for a loved one. It's going to be hard, right? So imagine having this additional finance come to you, additional money coming to you from a life insurance policy that will help pay for whatever taxes that comes your way without you even know.
Yeah. Are there options for people who may have waited until later in life to get started?
Absolutely. So we can insure up to age 85, but I do have to disclose that the living benefits package, we only cover for new clients. We can only cover starting or up to age 65. So if somebody is 64 years old and wants to get life insurance with living benefits, great. We can definitely help them right then and there. But if they're 66 years old, 65 years old, and they're hoping to get the full package of living benefits, they may not be able to get it. So that varies from state to state. That rule I told you about being 65 years old to get the full, or younger than 65 years old to get the full package of living benefits. With National Life Group, that 65 age rule only applies to California. But if somebody lives in Wisconsin, it may be different. If someone lives in Hawaii, it's going to be different. So it varies from state to state. Every state has its own Department of Insurance with its own separate rules. So California and New York tend to be the more difficult ones to deal with as far as Department of Insurance goes and the type of coverage that clients can get. But for the most part, the remaining states are pretty consistent with each other.
Okay. So I have a question regarding National Life Group. Are you considered a life insurance broker where you're able to work with multiple carriers, or do your policies only all come from National Life Group?
Yeah. So I am an independent agent. National Life Group is the main company that I work with, but I'm able to work with other companies as well.
Okay. Got it. And what's a common mistake people make when choosing or updating their policies?
Yeah. So a common mistake that people make when wanting to update, renew their policies is, and I'm honestly, I would probably be guilty of the same thing if I didn't know better. But a lot of people just go with whatever name they're familiar with, whatever name they see on TV. Like, oh, I know this and this company because I saw a commercial while I was watching the Super Bowl. But not every company is going to fit the needs of an individual. And again, no two companies are made the same. So sometimes you might find that another company can fit the needs that you're looking for, that fits within the budget and the type of coverage that you're looking for and what it covers as well. So it comes down to really asking the right questions and working with the right agent. I can't stress enough how big it is to work with the right agent. This isn't like buying tickets to a sporting event or a concert where you just go online, buy a ticket, and you're good to go, right? You don't go to a website of such and such life insurance company, just sign up for a policy right then and there, and you're good to go in 5 minutes. No, it's very important to talk to an agent who, one, knows what they're talking about, and two, has the best interests at heart, right? And that's my goal when I meet with people, is to provide the information that they need first and put out everything in front of them so that they can make the best decision that serves their interests as best as possible. And it starts with me building that trust with people. Trust is such a sensitive thing. It's a really fine line. it's so hard to build trust, but it's so easy to break it,
Yeah.
right? So I make sure that what I say is what I do. My word means so much to me that I don't want to break that trust to the people that I have as clients. Becoming an agent for somebody is not just a one-time thing. It's not like buying a car. You buy a car from that person and that's it. Being an agent starts with the very first meeting. And then once they decide on whatever policy they sign up for, that's just the very beginning of the relationship. It's a long-term thing. We meet with our clients every year to make sure that the policy is exactly what they need, is performing how they want it. We call these annual reviews, and we make changes as needed. People's lives change in the process. Someone may get it at 30, but by 35, they have multiple kids and a house that they need to cover. So we may need to make changes to whatever coverage they have to their policy. And so it just kind of depends what it is that changes in their lives, and we'll just make the adjustments as we go.
Yeah. You talked about making sure somebody works with that right agent. What should someone also look for in working with the right provider, right insurance company?
Mhm. Yeah. So again, it differs whatever depending on what somebody's looking for, what their goals are with the life insurance policy. If they just need coverage, if they just need to have that death benefit so that they're covered for the term that they're looking for, then there's really a lot of companies that could fit their needs. It's very basic. So I would tell them just go find what's the cheapest possible. It might be National Life Group. It might be another company. Then that's fine. But if they're looking for something that covers more, living benefits again is something that comes at no additional cost for us. And there are other companies that do something very similar, but some companies might offer something that others don't when it comes to what they cover in the living benefits. So it's important to know that. A lot of people, and it actually shocks me when I hear this, a lot of people do have life insurance out there, but they don't know what they have.
Yeah.
So they'll tell me, oh, I have life insurance already. I'm like, oh, great. I'm glad you do. That's very important. What company do you have? And they'll just kind of look at me with that blank look. And they say, oh, I don't know. And I'm just like, okay, well, do you know how much coverage you have? And again, they say, I don't know. So I tell them that it's important to know what you have because life happens, emergencies happen. You have this policy that might be able to cover different aspects of your life should certain things happen. Don't you think it's important to know what it can do for you? And of course, they'll always say, oh, yeah, I should probably look into it. And they should. Whether or not they do is up to them. So again, that comes back to having the right agent as well. I need to make sure my clients know exactly what it is that they're getting with these policies and that I can help them in their time of need if it's something that we cover.
Along the same line, say somebody came to you with that and they didn't have a good necessarily working relationship with their agent. It was like a transactional thing.
Mm-hmm.
How hard is it to say they liked you and they wanted to work with you? Is that something that you're able to do, like transfer a policy from a different carrier and have them work with you?
Yes, I can definitely do that. Depends on the type of policy they have. So the permanent policies that do have a cash value component, we have what's called a 1035 exchange where we can take what cash value they've built in their policy and transfer it over to National Life Group. If it's just a simple term policy, then there's really nothing to transfer over. It's just a matter of canceling their policy with one company and going with the next company. But then I do warn them, say, okay, well, if you got this term policy 20 years ago, well, guess what? You're 20 years older, so your cost is going to go up potentially. So if you want the same amount of coverage, you may have to pay a little more. But again, it just depends on the company. Sometimes we can help people at an older age get the same amount of coverage and still be at the same cost or even a little cheaper. So, every company is different in price, just like they're different in what they cover.
What's been one of the most rewarding parts of your work so far?
So from a client perspective, I haven't had any clients that passed away. I've been doing this for a little over 4 years now. So fortunately, I haven't had any clients who passed away or had the need for living benefits, which is a good thing. That means that they're healthy, doing well. And I hate to say this, but in a way, I am waiting for that first person to make their living benefits claim. I definitely have teammates who've had to put in a claim for clients of theirs. So I've seen
Yeah.
it work firsthand, and I've seen clients get that money for the living benefits claim.
Mhm.
So it definitely very much works, even if I haven't had a client that's personally had to use it. But I will take that as a positive sign. So
Yeah.
so that is definitely a positive to know that it actually works for people in that way, but also know that people are using the funds within their permanent policies to fund other things. To see people say, you know what, I want to invest in a property. And
Mhm.
instead of taking money from my savings account, I can take it from my life insurance proceeds policy. So seeing that work for people and seeing it work in how we show them and set it up for them and it actually coming to fruition is actually
Yeah.
very fun and very rewarding to see. You want to live up to your word,
Yeah.
and saying it and seeing it actually happen is something that feels very good, to be honest. And
Yeah.
it makes me proud to do what I do, despite the insurance industry having a tough name to it. Yeah.
Right. Do you have a favorite success story where you saw the real life impact of a policy you helped put into place?
I haven't yet. Again, that goes back to the living benefits part of it, where fortunately, my clients have all been healthy so far.
Yeah.
And I want it to stay that way. Again, as much as I want to have that first incident where somebody needs to make a living benefit claim and I'm able to serve my client in that way, I would rather them be healthy. I would rather them not need it, let the cash value build up to when they're ready to use it for, let's say, retirement. A lot of people, when I set it up for them, most of them have the mindset of using it in retirement, using the
Mhm.
funds within it to build a nice lifestyle so they can enjoy their golden years. And so I structure it so that it can be set up properly for them in that way. So for the whole living benefits one, I actually don't have one yet. And I am actually happy to say that.
Okay. Outside of your work with National Life Group,
Mhm.
what else are you passionate about?
I love golf. I love sports. So that's just my personality is I love to be around sports overall in general, whether as a spectator or being involved with it. The one thing I've actually really learned about myself as I've been on this journey in life insurance and
Yeah.
meeting people and networking and all that is I've grown to really like people. I never thought that I would just respond to a random message on LinkedIn from a guy named Dale Corpus and strike up a relationship with him. But
Yeah.
here I am, and it's been great. And I'm glad that I responded and agreed to meeting with you, along with so many other people that I've met in the senior industry and just in other industries in general.
Yeah.
Relationships have become very, very important to me because you just don't know what kind of value people can bring to each other. And sometimes it's as simple as just introducing somebody to another person. And sometimes you'll strike up a really good, strong friendship with somebody as well. And, the more friends, the merrier, right? So
Yeah.
I've learned that despite this world being a very, very tough place right now, I mean, everybody sees all the bad things on the news. A lot of people have very negative mindsets these days because the world is crazy, right? But I've actually been going in the opposite direction because of the people that I've been able to meet this past year to year and a half of networking and
Yeah.
realizing that there's so many good people out there still. And it
Yeah.
really keeps me in a positive mindset because it's hard enough. And dealing with the right people, meeting the right people just makes me realize that there's so much more out there for us, that there's so much more that we are capable of. It's just a matter of putting yourself in that right situation. And I'm hoping to be that right situation for people. I'm hoping that I can help them achieve their goals and what they want out of their life because it's hard to do it on your own. Everybody needs help at some point in their lives. There's no such thing as someone being self-made. Everybody needs help at some point along the way. And if I can help somebody get from point A to point B, then great. So being able to build relationships and really legitimately wanting to help people in different ways has been perhaps the most rewarding part as far as me being a life insurance agent that's networking out there left and right.
Perfect. I like everything you said. And just side note, I know a lot of realtors, obviously I'm in real estate. I know a lot of life insurance folks though too. And I like to just kind of meet people in the same profession. Reason being is because I kind of know which personalities are going to work with
Indeed.
which personality. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like clients will connect with a certain type of personality. And I could kind of sense who's going to get along with who. And I think that's very, very important.
It
All this
is.
relationship stuff, I'm very good at it. But it's like, I kind of get a good sense of what's going to stick if I make an introduction. So I'm always very open to network with people in the same profession, which is why, I've had another life insurance person on my podcast, and I know I'm going to have others as well.
Yeah,
You never know how somebody is, and the way they talk, how they are, reaches somebody differently. It's just the way they communicate and their personality, right?
absolutely.
So, hey, lastly, how can somebody get a hold of you if they wanted to connect with you?
Yeah. So I am on multiple social media platforms. I do have a Facebook. I don't do much with it, but you can definitely reach me out there. Just search me by my name, Steele Nakamoto. Instagram is a great way to reach out to me at Steele Nakamoto, or you can find me on LinkedIn as well. So as far as social media goes, those are the three platforms I'm on, but you could also just send me an email, steele.nakamoto@gmail.com. Or eventually when I get to know you, then I'll start releasing my phone number. I'm not just going to put it out there for everybody to hear, but after having a meeting with somebody, then I'll exchange contact information and they can reach out to me that way.
Fair enough. I totally understood. So, Steele, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your wisdom. You've made a topic that often feels intimidating,
Mhm.
life insurance, so much more approachable. I really appreciate the clarity, heart, and passion you bring to helping families. And for those of you watching, if your loved one is considering senior living and you need to figure out what to do with their home, let's talk. Schedule a free consultation with me by clicking on the Calendly link located in the video description box for this episode on YouTube. You can learn more about my services at www.simplifyseniortransitions.com. Have a quick question, DM me on Instagram at soldbydale. And if you found this interview helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who might need this information. And don't forget to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Your support helps more families discover the show. Thanks for tuning in. Steele, one last thanks for being on the episode with me today. And for the rest of you, I'll see you on the next episode of the Simplify Senior Transitions podcast.